Today on What Went Wrong, sometimes one is enough. Hi, I'm Brett Mauser, and I made a whole bunch of films, and only one or two here and there that were standalone films. I was building a universe. Now, I want to go back to the reason that I created my little cinematic universe way back in 95, 97. 97 is when I would say was the official start, because we had Return to Innocence,
Blue Moon,
and Return to Innocence, and Tag. And Tag was 98. So that was that little period there was really where I came to start realizing, okay, I'm working with the same people over and over again. Let's make them the same characters over and over again, because I may use a similar character or whatever. Let's just make them all the same character.
Right.
And that's where it spawned. That's where it was created. There was no Marvel. There was no DC universe. There was in the comic books, but there, motion picture-wise, there wasn't anything like that. Yeah. And that wasn't even what I was intending to do. I was just making up a reason or giving myself a good motivation or excuse to be able to do that. And then in 2000, when we made some extra scenes for Tag, and DeMarcus came on board, and he was going to be one of the bad guys that Ty killed. DeMarcus's rule was, I'll be in your movie, but I can't get killed. I don't want to die. So that was like, and at that time, that was sort of the Ponder's initiation. You had to die in your first film, so he got a pass. And that created and then his character in Tag that got his ass whipped by Hal became canon in a sense that, and then that character became Ruby James, became Shadow Dragon, and became, what that character is today in the universe, all because DeMarcus didn't want to get killed in that little, as a goon in that little
wuss.
But we get to say that he did, the Shadow Dragon did get his ass kicked by Hal Curtis. So there's that little ha-ha.
So, Beaker got you, man.
Yes, yeah.
Me, wham! me, bam!
And then there was, of course, there was the hot boiling water in his cohort's face. But so that was I wasn't trying to build this huge cinematic universe for any real monetary financial reason or anything. Yeah. It was just a way to explain why you and I kept playing the same characters over and over again.
Right.
And then, of course, it expanded from there. From time to time, I would do a standalone film. Sometimes short films, and then later down the road, it'd be like, well, let's see how we can shoehorn this into there, whatever.
Right.
Some of the films that I would say, that are standalone are The Benders,
right?
Bass Reeves, and more recently, Lady Lawman. I'm sure if we put our heads together, I might be able to come up with a couple here.
Yeah. Seal Rabbit, kind of.
Well, no, it's an essential part of the universe now. We almost could have said Don't Islamic Vampire Terrorists Suck, but that eventually worked its way into Bad Mojo, so that didn't.
That's true.
That didn't take. But there's something, of course, and then there was about 3 or 4 years ago, one of my students was talking about, I've got a cinematic universe, which was about 3 short films at that point.
Right.
And she was so proud of herself, and I was like, I hate to break this to you. That's kind of the thing now. Everybody's doing that.
Yeah.
You had, Kevin Smith has his cinematic universe, the whole Clerk stuff thing going on there. That all takes place. It's kind of a new thing. Now it seems almost the novelty to not have a cinematic universe going on.
Yeah.
And that was one of the, and I, maybe ironically or post-ironically, whatever you want to say, Lady Lawman is probably one of the first films that people wanted a sequel for. But to me, I would never do it. I just can't, and that's a tough call because, let's say Amazon looks at our numbers and says, oh, wow, this Lady Lawman is, a lot of people are watching this. Hey, will you do a limited Amazon series on this? They'd be like, ugh. That would be let's revisit this in terms of, another standalone series, but it's not going to be a prequel, sequel, whatever. This is just us remaking this as, as a well-backed thing.
Yeah, you could. There are ways to do it because you've also talked about.
Because Ryan wouldn't come back. She wouldn't do it. If Amazon was paying us a whole bunch of money, she don't want that fame. She doesn't want that. She doesn't want that stardom. She's kind of like.
She's like me.
No, just.
You're gonna come up and like, okay, Jeff, we want you to do a thing. I was like,
I'll play the person coming out of the
Now, okay,
the saloon.
Of course, that being said, I am very mercenary, and we all know this. So if you start throwing money at me, you'd be surprised at stuff I would do. So I'll say that. And if you start throwing money at Ryan, she may change her mind. Because you may go, yeah, you're not going to, but yeah, and you're not going to be like, this is like TikTok famous. You're not like, Angelina Jolie, with her lips out of control back in the 90s kind of famous. You're not Billy Bob Thornton playing Davy Crockett famous. You're Netflix famous, which I guess I could put up with for you and for the thing, but you're gonna pay me. And there's something to be said for standalone. Okay, like we were talking about Ghostbusters the other day, or whenever we were talking about it. And Ghostbusters, by itself, standalone, would have been fantastic. Would have been great. Jaws would have been fantastic.
Just think about Jaws 3.
Yeah.
Jaws 4, The Revenge. The shark comes after the guy.
Yeah. I saw Jaws 3 in 3D in the theaters. And yeah, it was kind of cool, but I was, 10 years old walking out going, that thing made no sense. I was like, really?
Aliens?
Aliens? Had to be aliens. The Matrix should have been one movie,
Yeah.
And they went and did just... And then this latest travesty they put out didn't make it any better. It was like, oh, we'll be meta and self-aware. It's like, yeah, you're meta and self-aware, and you're still crap. Deadpool, now, to be fair, I haven't seen Deadpool 2. And I didn't mean to see Deadpool. Not that I don't like it. I mean, Ryan Reynolds cracks me the hell up. I mean, he is quite possibly one of the funniest human beings I've ever met. Not met.
I was going to say...
I haven't met Ryan
When did
Reynolds.
that happen?
I have met a bunch of them, and once again, by mistake most of the time. I don't mean to meet these people. I don't want to meet these people. I'm not interested in meeting the stars, but they apparently get on airplanes, and they do stuff, and there are places where I happen to be, and there they are. And, hi. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Like, Tony Shalhoub is one of my favorite stories, and I'll tell it some other time. But the point of the movies that are standalone, or the point of a movie being a standalone and not having a sequel, is there are certain things that are just perfect. There are Casablanca. We talk about Casablanca constantly because we both agree it's the greatest movie, it's the best movie, it's the most spectacular example of American cinema, of Earth cinema. Okay, it's got so much about it that is absolutely without compare, without equal, at the top of the mountain, the pinnacle of human achievement when it comes to movies. Okay, and thank God it existed in a time period when they weren't so obsessed, because if that happened now, where someone came out with one of the greatest movies ever made, Casablanca, and let's do Casablanca 2.
Well, they did.
Rick Saves Paris.
They were trying to do that in the 80s or 90s. They were trying to get Julia Roberts to come back or come out and play that.
And I hope
now, however, though, I do have to point out that it was not a major hit. It was designed to be a B movie.
Well, yeah. Well, in the wartime, I mean, the big push in the wartime whatever wasn't making movies. Mm-hmm. Okay, the movies were meant to be entertainment for the people who were working their asses off trying to win this war, who were, their boys were on the front lines, and so the boys would get the movies, and the people would be working their tails off, and they, from what little money they could scrape together, whatever else they could go, and the theaters would offer discount, the prices are down and everything else like that. But it's just a way for people to escape for a little bit.
Yeah. When you did have sequels, they were in the forms of, you had the serials.
Serials were meant to be serials,
yeah.
though.
And then you had, and I guess you could even kind of call them, TV before TV, where you had like the Thin Man series, where you had Nick and Nora going out and solving crimes in this movie, and then the Thin Man does this, and then the Thin Man does that. The Thin Man and the Thin Man eats a bullet.
And then you had you did have the different Tarzans,
Yeah.
the Tarzan serials. But once again, those were serial movies. Flash Gordon was meant to be a serial. It was never, because there was no TV back then.
Yeah.
So what else is it going to be? Where else is it going to be shown? One place you can show it.
And these were all based on serialized ideas,
And comic books and things like that.
Yeah, whereas you had a series of Thin Man novels, but you didn't have, even when you had like the Big Sleep and the Maltese Falcon, you didn't really have Bogart coming back for another sequel to Maltese Falcon. That was kind of it. I'm really have to. They might have made a B movie with him. Who knows? Where they did that.
But the thing is, they made these movies to be what they were, okay? And there's something, I think, in particular, and once again, I'm romanticizing a little bit old Hollywood, okay? And old Hollywood, new Hollywood.
Well, they also didn't spend a lot of money on those.
I'm getting there.
So they were
old Hollywood, new Hollywood, completely different creatures, completely different ideas, completely different whatever else. But yeah, the movies weren't these huge. The idea wasn't that you had this big, huge, massive blockbuster of a movie, which is why Gone with the Wind was so weird back then. I was like, what the hell? I mean, everyone working on it realized it was a massive, big, huge undertaking that was going to be monstrous. Okay? Everyone knew that. Casablanca, not so much. Wizard of Oz was a kid's movie. No one realized. But the whole coloring thing, and of course the music being what it was, and it hit just at the right time. Just as we're coming out of the Depression, and plus the fact that Frank Baum had this whole series of books on Oz, and the kids had been reading Oz. I say the kids, the adults had been reading Oz for years and had grown up reading the Oz stories, which, by the way, were nothing like the actual Wizard of Oz. Those books were more like Return to Oz than Wizard of Oz. They're freaking dark as balls. I mean, these things are scary. I mean, straight terrifying, But anyway, that notwithstanding, you had these movies that were being made for entertainment. The studios owned the actors. They owned the stuff. They owned this. They owned that. And they were basically just like, hey, let's make some money. And so they had project after project after project after project. They'd go to a set. They'd build the set. They'd do their movie, tear the thing down, and build the next set, because tomorrow we're starting the production on this next movie. So get your done, get the out. We ain't got time for you to be hanging out and running over, okay? Because there's another movie we got to film on the set starting Tuesday. And so it was a completely different. There was no on-location filming. It was all in sets. I mean, the closest thing to on-location filming is you go out to California and film during the day and then turn the thing down to make it look like it's nighttime. That was your on-location. You'd basically drive 20 miles out and go into the hills and film on Bob's Ranch that everyone filmed on. You'd see the same freaking rock. Everybody would go. Everybody would go.
Captain Kirk Mountain. With the Gorn, where he battled the Gorn.
Right. It's like Captain Kirk and the Ponderosa and the guys from Rawhide went past that same rock. You just go by there one because it was the set, and so it was a completely different world. And so sequels weren't a thing, and I kind of miss that because now even if I see a good movie, I'm thinking to myself, well, when's the next? When are they going to screw this up? They'll show me a movie, like WALL-E, and I'll see WALL-E, and I love WALL-E, okay, and I'm like, ugh, and then I'm thinking to myself, how long before we get a direct-to-TV or direct-to-video sequel money grab for WALL-E, WALL-E 2, back on Earth,
and it's hard to define bad, good, intentions, all that when it comes to this, because sometimes it's just, especially from my standpoint, you can look at my films and I've done it all. I really have, because I've got the standalones, and I've got just the sequels. I've got the sequels that are just fun, like the Serial Rabbit stuff, which we go into it saying this is just for the people who enjoy Serial Rabbit, know what Serial Rabbit is, and go on.
We know it's going to be bad crazy.
And then you have the Ponder's Universe stuff where I love these characters, I'm involved with these characters, and I want to see these characters. I don't want to say goodbye to these characters. Then there are the times where it's like, okay, well, they want this kind of a movie. They 4 hot chicks on motorcycles. That'll make some money. Oop, here you go. So they are what they are. I go into them knowing what they are.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I am trying to do the best that we can with what we have,
right.
And I'm not trying to piss people off.
Right.
By watching the movie. If you're going to watch the movie, I don't want you to be pissed off.
No.
I'm trying to give you the best that we've got. It may not hit the audiences because that was the big problem with Serial Rabbit the first go around was nobody understood what it was. They were clicking on slasher, thinking it was a slasher film, and they got the Serial Rabbit.
They should make a new thing instead of slasher or slapstick. It's slash stick. It's a new little genre we're creating. It's like,
because Slapper sounds like a whole different type of movie.
I mean, those have a place too in the world. God loves all his children, but yeah, it's what, and I get that. Yeah, you do have people who don't understand what they're looking at, and that's fine. I have stumbled onto movies I didn't mean to stumble on. I've been out, doing whatever, looking at something, and there was one I watched, and it was under disaster movies. I was like, oh, okay. And it was about a group of people in some foreign country. An earthquake hits, and the building falls down, and one guy gets his hand trapped, and his hand gets cut off, and they put it into a purse, and all this other stuff. And as I'm watching this, and I'm realizing, oh, this is not actually a disaster movie. This is a torture porn movie. At one point, guy gets burnt. And it's not like I'm watching, the Towering Inferno, where people trying to escape this thing keep having things happen to them that would actually, whatever. Earthquake did that. Towering Inferno did that. The Poseidon Adventure did that, where you had the Fellowship of the Ring, and they're trying to do whatever, and people keep getting picked off. This one was one of those, the what's that one with the little puppet thing with the Saw? It was like a Saw movie set as a disaster movie, and I'm like, ugh, no, and I was like, burp, and I'm out. I realized about half an hour in, I was like, now there were some cool scenes in, like the earthquake scene and how stuff happened. I'm like, okay, I like that. It sounds weird to say that I like the whole death thing, but the disaster genre is something, if done well, is very compelling and amazing, and I love it. Everything from Dante's Peak to to Earthquake back in the day. I like those movies, like the disaster movies. But I could understand where people would want to watch a certain movie and get something else and be, ugh. And that's probably what you want to do with sequels, where you think you're going to get... I didn't get The Matrix in The Matrix 2. Mm-hmm. I didn't get... They might as well have been different genres.
You got a philosophy class.
I got a philosophy class. And the third one, I'm in a TV room, and we're talking about the science of the mind. I'm like, once again, I like that. If
but not in my kung fu movie.
If Amy Farrah Fowler wants to sit down and let's talk, and talk, that kind of stuff, I'm there. I am so there. Yeah, but don't put it in my kung fu action movie. I didn't turn on, Enter the Dragon, so we can have a conversation about humanity. No, I want to see Enter the Dragon. I want to see Bruce Lee some shit up. I want to see Neo doing Neo stuff. I want to see Neo dodging bullets and freaking jumping into people and flying. Now, the fight scenes that were there, although a little gratuitous at times, it was like, really, how many Smiths can we get? And the CG was... But I can forgive him for that. That was 2003, 2002, 2001, when the second one came out. I'm gonna give him pass on certain things. Okay, Jurassic Park '93, certain things haven't quite held up, although most of it has. Little things I see in Jurassic Park now that I'm really looking for. But in my Kung Fu movie, I want to see what I want to see, and you gave me something that wasn't that. And that's why, in my opinion, Matrix 2, Matrix 3, and they may have actual names, I don't know them because I don't care. Whereas The Matrix, as far as I'm concerned, is the only one. And I don't blame Keanu Reeves for those movies. I don't blame Lawrence Fishburne for those movies. It's the same way I don't blame, John Boyega and what's her name who played Rey. I don't blame them for the travesty that was Star Wars 7, 8, and 9. Like I said, Daisy Ridley. Daisy Ridley is, I'm sure she's a fantastic actor. She's exceptionally pretty, and I would have taken her to the prom. Okay? I have nothing against Daisy Ridley.
Now, see, sometimes I do blame an actor, especially when you hear them talking like the Indiana Jones stuff. Why? So it took so long to get a 4 out. You had people saying, well, Harrison Ford never agreed on the script. He just couldn't buy the script, or Spielberg wasn't happy with the script. And when the actor is one of the reasons that has the script approval, it's like, oh yeah, no, aliens are cool. Ford, I love you to death, but you bear some of the responsibility of giving me aliens in my Indiana Jones.
Yeah, but he did want a de Havilland Beaver, so I can understand him wanting to do an extra movie for that airplane. I'm not saying it's right. What I'm saying is sometimes a pukey blowjob needs to happen so you can get your airplane.
Well, he could have had Air Force 2.
Once again, not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying I understand why sometimes the actor will do that. Okay, and I agree with you. There are certain times when you have an actor who, yes, I have to prove the script, and you're like, you prove this is what you came up with. How many iterations did you go through before you went? Yeah, that one's good. I mean, what was worse? Was it worse? Or maybe you liked the aliens? Or were you just like looking up there? Did the beaver come for sale? And for those of you who don't know what a de Havilland Beaver, it's an airplane. Look it up. It's pretty cool. Maybe it is like, did it come up for sale and you needed like $1.5 million plus another $2 million to run it, and you just needed it? At which point I'm like, okay, I can accept that. Now I hated the movie, but if you got an airplane out of it, that's perfectly okay with me. You could just pay. In fact, if it ever comes to the time when you need me to do any kind of acting thing for you, and I won't do it, if you just like pay me with aircraft things, I will perfectly be okay with that. But anyway, to be serious, the standalone movie versus the non-essential sequel. Okay, now Matrix 2, Matrix 3 didn't ruin Matrix. Okay. But how much better would we think about Matrix if 2 and 3 and 4 didn't exist? Okay. And now Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, one of the great action movies, one of the greatest movies of its genre in existence. Indiana Jones Temple of Doom. But then Last Crusade. And Last Crusade is, if not the equal of Raiders of the Lost Ark, they are, well, I mean, if it's not greater than Raiders of the Lost Ark, they are definitely equals. And even if it's not greater or equals, it's right next to it. I mean, you could watch one and go straight to the next one, which is usually what I do. And they flow together seamlessly. The characters change.
Well, technically, you should watch 2 before you watch 1.
That is true. Which is 2. It should go 2, 1, 3, and then 4 should never be watched ever. And so you have the standalone movies that themselves could exist without the sequels. And then here's a weird one. You have sequels that could be their own standalone movie. Because I have friends of mine who watched Last Crusade before they saw Raiders of the Lost Ark. And then they got confused. They're like, wait a minute. Because they saw Marion as a young girl, and then they knew Ford come out, and they're like, wait, what? How do these, and then they're like, oh, no, you got to go back to 1981, 82, when that one came out. This one was 89. You go back 7 years, and that was the first one. She's like, well, when did this happen, I know people who've watched, God love them, they watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 and didn't know there was a 1. And I'm like, no, it's, and then they went, that was so much better. This was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And then I was like, oh, I had to watch, but that was a really good movie. And I'm like, I know, I don't, let's look at movies like Hunt for October. Now, Jack Ryan is a character in all these movies. But you could watch Hunt for October, and it has nothing to do with Patriot Games, which has nothing to do with clear and present danger. Okay? Now, are they part of a series? Yes, but no. Because this is your sub-movie. And this is your, Irish IRA espionage movie, and this one is, war in the East kind of movie.
James Bond,
exactly the same way.
Got to be all standalone movies.
They are, because you can watch GoldenEye, Goldfinger, A Man with the Golden Gun at any particular time, and you're going to get different ideas of who James Bond is. But you understand that the James Bond you see in Man with the Golden Gun isn't the guy you see in Goldfinger, and isn't the guy you see in GoldenEye. I just picked the gold ones, because they're all different. They're all different guys, and so you have standalone movies as part of a series, but they're not. And so you can even have movies that are sequels that are their own movie, and they're just that. I like that too,
Yeah, the takeaway from it all is know that you get out of this mindset of you've got to build a franchise.
Yeah.
Just make a good movie. And by doing that sometimes means turning down, because people have been, since Lady Lawman has come out, more and more people are coming up to some of these actors and saying, hey, when's the sequel coming out? And people have said, hey, Brett, when are you going to do a sequel to this? And there's that brief moment where it's like, okay, well, if people want it, and then the other part is like, but I told the story. I'm done. There's nothing else I can tell. And even when we were on set, I was like, oh, if I did a sequel, I'd do this. I'd kind of take this element from the script, the stuff that I had to cut out, and do that. But now it's just like, no, I don't want to do this I don't want to do this film.
You can have Matrix, and it's perfect. And yeah, you can make Matrix 2 and Matrix 3, and they don't damage Matrix. But it's not really Matrix.
Yeah.
You could have Casablanca, and it's one of the greatest movies ever made, and you could try to make a second one, and you're just going to be the also-ran.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to let it be.